Welcome back to the Gweilo 60 channel. I'm in another park. Of course I'm in another park. See, when I'm making videos in China, there's so many cars, there's so many people, there's so much noise that it takes a little bit of sort of searching around to find a place where you can make a video and not be disturbed or have all of the background noise. Everybody knows I use a directional mic, a road directional mic, and it picks up everything. Definitely. But that's not what this video is about. I woke up this morning and it was 98% humidity, and it's supposed to go up to 32 degrees today. 10 days ago, or 2 days ago, it was 10 degrees. But then again, that's not what this video is about either. Oh God, I digress so much. It's one of my traits when I get older, I guess. It's just the way it is. But the things I miss about the Western world when I'm in China, it's not all unicorns and fairy farts over here. It is more difficult. I sort of it's like living at the cabin at the lake. It's not as comfortable as in the Western world. My home isn't as comfortable as in the Western world. When you're doing laundry, you don't just put it in the washer and then put it in the dryer and fold it. You put it in the washing machine. Then you go hang it up for a day on the balcony. Then you take it down and, you know, stuff like that. Cooking is a pain in the ass here in China. Everything is done on a stovetop, on a wok, boiled or fried in a wok. There's no ovens. I'm going to redo my kitchen, and I'm going to search, because I know you can buy ovens here, just for the fact that we had a home on San Yutzen. It's in a richer area of the city. We didn't like it there, but we outfitted our kitchen with an oven. I didn't even get to use it once before we sold it. We just didn't like it there. There's lots of people that use a park for the same thing I'm using the park for. Yes. But cooking is a lot more difficult here. You can't, even if I do get an oven, you can't go buy a rib roast. Finding a steak, you gotta find sort of a specialty. Well, you can buy little steaks at Walmart, but they're, you know, like half an inch thick and stuff like that. It's just not the same. You know, the chickens aren't the chickens that we know in the West with the big breasts and stuff like that. They're the skinny little Chinese chickens, and so cooking is a little bit more difficult here. Finding the right food to cook in the house is more difficult here, like Western style food, not Eastern style food, because everything here is what a nice little park, eh? I wasn't looking at that girl way across the way there with two dogs. No, I wasn't doing that. But so it's a little bit more difficult. The language is something that's bugged me for 20 years. I do know a fair bit of Mandarin, a little bit of Cantonese, but that was a problem between Wei Fang and me. She would speak Cantonese and Mandarin depending on who she was talking to. And so I didn't know that I couldn't distinguish between the Cantonese and the Mandarin, so I learned some Cantonese and some Mandarin, and that sort of screwed me up for a while there. But I have been learning a lot more of the language here over the last couple of months, 3 months just about now. So I'm getting around a little bit better than I was in the past, but language is difficult. The idea that there's no heat in the house. Well, I have heat in my house, but most houses don't have any heat. And in the wintertime, it gets cold. Like it was just a little while ago, it was 3 degrees. Well, if it's 3 degrees outside, it's 3 degrees inside. So, you know, so it's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. Now with the 98% humidity, and just the other day, it was 10 degrees. Anybody that's ever lived in a subtropical area, when spring hits, and spring has hit heavy this year, just yesterday and today. Yesterday I think was 26, and today is 32. Well, now everything starts to sweat. So you've got wet floors, you've got wet walls. You can get mold on the walls. Then you've got to bleach the walls. A couple years ago in our living room, we had black mold on our walls, so we bleached them and put on a mildew-resistant paint, and that seemed to work. So probably this summer sometime I'll hire some people to come in and do that to the entire place, and then we won't have that problem again. But it's you know, it's one thing after another. I love living in Nanning, but it's not as easy as a lot of us YouTubers or content creators. I don't like to use the word YouTuber very much because that gives them more credence than Billy and Weibo and Tutiao and Sigua and stuff like that. And I'd say that 80% of all my subscribers are on the Chinese social media platforms rather than the YouTube platform. But that's for another video. And the crowds, after a little while, being a Canadian, because like we got 40 million people in Canada and 40 million people in the entire country, and the country's bigger than China, so there's not a lot of people. So after a little while, it sort of grates on you a little bit. It does. The crowds and the noise and the just the hustle and bustle. I like the hustle and bustle, but to a certain extent, and then I like to turn it off and just sort of hide away for a little while. It's one of those things that being a Canadian, you can probably understand what I'm talking about. It's overwhelming sometimes. Stepping back into the food situation, it would be nice to have some bacon and eggs or ham and eggs and toast and you know, coffee at home and stuff like that. I guess you can probably do that here. I'm not sure where you get the bacon and the ham. They have bacon, but it's sort of a near bacon. It's not really bacon. It looks like bacon. That's about where it ends. It looks like bacon, but it doesn't taste like bacon, and it's different. But yeah, you see, there's a lot of things that are more difficult for a Westerner here in China than I guess we put on. Weather isn't one of them. Weather here, except for like a month and a half in the wintertime, the weather is really good. It gets hot in the summertime, but other than that, the weather is amazing here in Nanning, in Guangxi Autonomous Region. It's we're very close to the Vietnamese border and very close to the South China Sea. So we're down in that really southwestern area of the country, and it's you know, it would have the same temperatures as Hong Kong here in Nanning. So if you're looking at Hong Kong weather and you look at Nanning weather, they're basically the same. Guangzhou, Hong Kong, and Nanning are the three cities in the south that are common in their weather. Another thing I miss is the Canadian beer. Chinese beer is just not as good. I drink a lot of Li Qian beer because it's cheap and easy and it's readily available. I drink a lot of Wusu beer too, but you know, it's a little bit more expensive, but it's a better beer. But you can buy Heineken. You can, like, don't get me wrong, you can buy any type of German beer that you want. You want the wheat beers, you want the Heineken beers, you want the lagers, you want the pilsners and whatever. They're all sold here in Nanning. But your Chinese beers, no, they're not very good. It's one of their downfalls. I used to own a car. I've got a driver's license here in China. I've had a driver's license for, I don't know, 10, 12 years maybe, or even maybe even more than that. I can't remember. But driving in China isn't as fun as driving in Canada or the United States. They have toll bridges, toll roads. They have a lot of traffic. It's not as free-flowing as it is in the Western world, and there's a lot of drivers that are new drivers, so you really got to watch yourself type thing. So it's not as fun driving. You don't have the old vehicles because the vehicles after a certain age aren't allowed on the street anymore. So you don't have the vintage vehicles and the vintage motorcycles and you know, the old trucks and the old like 70 62 or 69 Camaros running around, or the Shelbys or you know, the old Ford Mustangs and stuff like that. You don't have that here, so it loses some of that bounce when you're doing vehicles. You see the Maseratis and you see the Benzes and the Lamborghinis, and there's a lot of money here in mainland China, but you don't see that, and it sort of takes away from. I'm sort of a car motorcycle guy when I'm in the Western world, so I miss stuff like that. But the number one thing that I miss the most is family and friends. My Western family and friends. I have a lot of friends, and some family, not as much as we used to have. Mom and Dad are gone, and Wei Fong is gone. Alugo's wife is gone. There's just been a rash of people passing away in our family over the last 10 years. So our family isn't as big, and I think I alienated some of them by not giving them any money. So they tried to get some, but it didn't work out for them. So the idea that I have some really good friends here in Nanning, and I have some really good family here in China also. So but I miss my brother. I miss my sister-in-law. I miss my children. I miss Mimi. Now I miss Mimi. Mimi ended up going to my cousin's place, but Mimi was a little bit too difficult to handle for her. She was eating her cupboards and stuff. I don't know why, but because she wasn't like that when we had her on Vancouver Island. So she sent him to my brother's place, and my brother is, well, he's a cat person. I think he's got 4 or 5 cats. He spends most of his day feeding, watering, or cleaning litter boxes, and or sleeping with cats, or sitting with cats, or just hanging with cats and stuff like that. So Mimi moved over to my brother's place, and I got a video this morning from Debbie that's my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, and Mimi has sort of called that her home, and she's okay with the other cats and stuff like that. I didn't think she would be. So that's the number one thing that I miss the most about living in China, far away. I'm about 17,000 kilometers away from family members. 3 weeks until my daughter Miranda gets here, so that'll be good. But yeah, that's the number one thing that I miss the most about my life here in China is family and friends in Canada. Anyway, that's just another short video from Gweilo 60 by, I don't know what this is. It's a little river, I guess. Is that what you call it? If you like this video, as always, like, comment, subscribe, push that share button. Don't forget to resubscribe, hit the bell, and until next time, thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye now.